Listen, if you're serious about making 2026 your year, you can't keep walking around with ideas floating in your head like they matter, because they don't. A thought is weak, a wish is powerless, but when you take that vision out of your mind and you write it down, now it becomes real. Now it becomes something you can see, something you can feel, something you can chase with everything you've got. You've been saying for years that you want more, that you want to level up, that you want to become a better version of yourself. But where is it written? Where is the blueprint for your greatness? Because if you don't define it, life will define it for you, and I promise you, it won't be in your favor. You've got to sit down and get uncomfortable with yourself. You've got to ask the hard questions. Who do I need to become? What habits do I need to build? What distractions do I need to eliminate? What time do I wake up? How do I spend my hours? What am I willing to sacrifice? This isn't just about writing goals. This is about writing a whole new identity. Because when you write it, you're no longer guessing. You're committing, and commitment changes everything. Now you can't hide from it. Now you can't pretend you don't know what to do. That paper becomes a mirror, and every single day it reflects the truth back at you. Are you living up to the standard, or are you falling short? That's the level of accountability you need if you want 2026 to be different. You don't need luck. You don't need perfect conditions. You need clarity and execution, and clarity starts with writing. When you write your vision, you give direction to your energy. You stop wasting time on things that don't matter because now you know exactly what does. You stop saying yes to everything because you finally understand your purpose. And let me tell you something, when your vision is strong enough, excuses don't stand a chance. You won't hit snooze because your goals are louder than your comfort. You won't procrastinate because your future is too important. Writing your vision is not a one-time thing. It's a daily reminder of who you're becoming. You read it when you wake up. You look at it before you sleep. You carry it in your mind like a mission you cannot abandon. Because average people hope things will change. Great people write it down and make it happen. So if you really want 2026 to be your breakthrough year, stop dreaming and start documenting. Stop wishing and start designing. This is your life. We're talking about your future, your legacy, your impact. And that deserves more than just a thought. It deserves a plan, a vision, and a version of you that refuses to settle. Write it like your life depends on it, because it does. If you're really about that growth, if you're truly serious about making 2026 your year, then you've got to understand something most people try to avoid. The old version of you has to die. Not once, not someday, not when it's convenient, but every single day. You can't step into a new life with the same mindset that kept you stuck. You can't build greatness while holding on to habits that created mediocrity. That version of you that procrastinates, that makes excuses, that quits when it gets hard. That version is your biggest enemy. And the truth is, nobody else can destroy it for you. This is personal. This is a daily war between who you are and who you're trying to become. And every decision you make either feeds the old you or strengthens the new you. When that alarm goes off in the morning and your body says sleep, that's the old you talking. When you say, I'll start tomorrow, that's the old you negotiating. When fear tells you to play it safe, that's the old you trying to survive. But if you want 2026 to be different, you've got to respond differently. You've got to rise up and say, not today. You've got to discipline your mind to do what's necessary, not what's comfortable. Because let me tell you something, comfort is a trap. It feels good in the moment, but it steals your future. Growth doesn't come from doing what's easy. It comes from doing what's required, even when you don't feel like it. And that's where most people lose. They rely on feelings. They wait to feel motivated. They wait to feel ready. But champions don't wait, they act. They move. They execute regardless of how they feel. Killing the old version of you means you stop giving power to your excuses. You stop blaming your past. You stop letting your environment dictate your effort. You take full responsibility for your life, your choices, your actions. And yeah, it's hard. It's supposed to be hard. Change is uncomfortable. Discipline is painful. But you know what's worse. Staying the same, living another year full of regret, full of what-ifs, full of missed opportunities because you chose comfort over growth. That pain hits different, so you've got to decide, are you willing to go through the pain of change, or are you going to keep suffering the pain of staying stuck? Because you can't have both. Every day you wake up, you've got a choice. You can either repeat the same patterns, or you can break them. You can either stay average or you can level up, but understand this, nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is going to force you to be great. That responsibility is yours, so if you want 2026 to be your breakthrough year, then you've got to show up every single day ready to fight for it, ready to outwork your excuses, ready to outgrow your old self. This isn't about being perfect, it's about being consistent. It's about choosing growth over comfort, discipline over distraction, purpose over excuses, again and again and again. And if you do that, if you commit to killing the old version of you daily, then by the time 2026 is in full swing, you won't just have a better year, you'll be a completely different person. You say you want 2026 to be your year, then listen carefully, talk is cheap. Dreams are common, but execution is rare. Everybody has goals, everybody has plans, everybody has that vision in their head of a better life, but very few people are willing to do the work when it actually matters. And that's the difference. It's not talent, it's not luck, it's not where you come from, it's your ability to execute day in and day out without making excuses. Because here's the truth, there are going to be days when you don't feel like it. Days when you're tired, distracted, frustrated, maybe even doubting yourself. And in those moments, average people stop. They take a break. They wait for motivation to come back. But if you're serious about greatness, you don't have that luxury. You don't take days off mentally. You stay locked in, you stay focused, you stay committed to the process, no matter how you feel, because feelings are temporary, but your goals require consistency. You've got to train your mind to operate at a high level even when everything in you is telling you to quit. That's what discipline looks like. That's what separates winners from everybody else. It's not about going hard one day and disappearing the next. It's about showing up every single day and doing what needs to be done, even when nobody is watching, even when there's no applause, even when it feels like nothing is working. Because let me tell you something, progress doesn't always show up immediately. Sometimes you grind in silence. Sometimes you put in work and see no results, but that doesn't mean it's not working. That doesn't mean you stop. That's the moment you push harder. That's the moment you double down on your effort, because execution is not about instant gratification. It's about long-term transformation. And that requires patience, consistency, and a mindset that refuses to break. You've got to eliminate distractions. Social media, negative people, wasted time, all of it has to go or at least be controlled. Because every minute you waste is a minute you could have invested in becoming better. You can't afford to be casual about your goals if you want serious results. You've got to become obsessed with execution. Wake up with purpose, attack your day with intention, finish what you start, and when you fall short, and you will sometimes, you don't quit, you adjust. You learn, you come back stronger the next day. That's the mentality, that's the grind, because nobody becomes great by accident. Greatness is built through repetition, through discipline, through doing the small things right over and over again. So if you want 2026 to be different, you've got to move differently. You've got to stop waiting and start working. Stop planning and start executing. Stop making excuses and start making progress. No days off mentally means you're always aware, always focused, always pushing yourself to be better than you were yesterday. And if you can lock into that mindset, if you can commit to relentless execution, then 2026 won't just be another year. It'll be the year everything changes for you. If you really want 2026 to be your year, then you've got to make a decision that most people are too afraid to make. You've got to stop chasing comfort and start chasing growth. Because comfort feels good, but it's dangerous. Comfort will keep you in the same place, doing the same things, getting the same results year after year. And if you're honest with yourself, that's exactly where most people are stuck, not because they lack potential, but because they're addicted to what's easy. They choose convenience over challenge, relaxation over responsibility, excuses over effort. But you said you want more, and more doesn't live in your comfort zone. Growth lives in the struggle. Growth lives in the moments when you're tired, but you keep going. When you're scared, but you take the step anyway. When you fail, but you refuse to quit. That's where transformation happens. You've got to train your mind to crave discomfort, to see it not as something to avoid, but as something to embrace. Because every time you step into something uncomfortable, you're expanding your limits. You're becoming stronger, sharper, more resilient. And that's the version of you that wins. The problem is, most people run the moment things get hard. They interpret struggle as a sign to stop instead of a sign to grow. But if you flip that mindset, if you start seeing pain as part of the process, everything changes. Now, instead of backing down, you lean in. Instead of quitting, you push harder. Instead of doubting yourself, you prove yourself wrong. That's obsession. That's the mentality you need if you want to make 2026 your breakthrough year. You've got to wake up every day with a hunger to improve. Not just a little, but relentlessly. You read more, you learn more, you work more, you sacrifice more. Because you understand that the life you want requires a version of you that doesn't exist yet, and the only way to become that person is through growth. Real growth, the kind that stretches you, challenges you, and sometimes even breaks you, but builds you back stronger. And let's be real, it's not going to be easy. There will be days when you question everything, days when progress feels slow. Days when you want to go back to what's comfortable, but you can't. You've come too far to settle. You've seen what's possible, and now average is no longer acceptable. So you keep going. You stay committed. You stay focused on the bigger picture. Because you know that every sacrifice, every late night, every early morning, every moment of discomfort is shaping you into the person you need to become. That's the trait. You give up comfort now so you can live with freedom later. You embrace struggle now so you can experience success later. And when you adopt that mindset, when you truly become obsessed with growth, nothing can stop you. Not fear, not failure, not obstacles, because you've built a mentality that thrives under pressure. And that's when everything changes. That's when 2026 stops being just another year and becomes your year. The year you leveled up, the year you transformed, the year you became unstoppable.